It's an honor to join so many distinguished friends and allies who are here today to speak about the most crucial voting rights case to reach the U.S. Supreme Court in decades. I come here representing 1.5 million members of the American Federations of Teachers, school support staff, nurses and other health professionals, college faculty members and staff, and public employees. And while I speak for all of our members, let me speak to you today as a teacher. We teach our students that the right to vote is the foundation of democracy. We remind our students that the right to vote wasn't just handed to Americans. We had to fight for it. We remind our students that it is a right we too often take for granted, and it's a right that defines our nation as a democracy. But what if the Voting Rights Act is compromised? What if Section 5 of the law is thrown out? What kind of lesson would that teach our children? It would teach them that the days of polling taxes and literacy tests that they learned about in their history class are not gone, but simply back in a different form. It would teach them that if you have the kind of money that the Koch brothers have, you can write your own laws, democracy or no democracy. Friends, are those the kinds of lessons we want to teach our children? Of course not. The importance of this case can't be overstated. Our elections must be free, fair, and accessible to all voters. We don't want our future generations, especially our students, to read in a dusty history textbook about how we in 2013 turned the clock back on decades of progress. The American Federation of Teachers joins all of you in the clear and unambiguous message that you bring here today. The right to vote must be protected for all Americans. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing up for the right to vote. Thank you for the work you've been doing. I see CWA and SEIU and our friends from Labor, AFT and everybody else. Thank you for standing up. We got work to do, but we're going to keep on winning. We have, in the past 2 years, seen the greatest legislative attack on the right to vote that we have seen in more than a century. And still, we find ourselves back at the Supreme Court staring at the Senate, where in 2006, 98 out of 100 senators, virtually all the Republicans and all the Democrats, stood up and said we must reauthorize the Voting Rights Act. The right to vote is an American entitlement. This is my vote. And you can't have it. Unless you earn it. You can't steal it. You can't keep me from it. We ain't going back. Forwards ever. Backwards never.
The argument that was raised on behalf of Shelby County, Alabama, was that they should not be subject to Section 5 because there are others outside of the districts and the 9 states that are covered by the Voting Rights Act that are just as bad or worse. So in effect, they're saying that we're not saying we're not unfair. We're saying we're not the only ones unfair. The fact is that their argument clearly dispels that they are even trying to defend anything. Last year, they ended early voting days or cut them back in many states. Last year, they used government voter ID that disproportionately robbed blacks of their right to vote. Last year, they used the fact that we were mobilizing Sunday souls to the polls and stopped it in many of our states. So we're not talking about something that used to happen. We're talking about things that are happening right now. And we need this Voting Rights Act and Section 5 to protect us right now. Let us not forget, we did not get the Voting Rights Act based on just some great legal argument. We got it because Martin's father and Fannie Lou Hamer and others went to the streets and demanded the right to vote, and we are prepared to do that again. We are not going to let them take from us what our grandparents and parents fought and suffered and died to give us in the first place.
We'll go to Memphis, and it will be the 45th anniversary of the sanitation workers' strike. Dad gave his life there. I lost a father, but the nation gained a message and an understanding of a movement. And so, in a real sense, 45 years later, the movement is still going on. That's what this is about today. If the court chooses to strike down Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, then we understand what our mission is. We're going to have to march some more. We're going to have to tweet some more. We're going to have to use Facebook some more, because everybody should want to be on the right side, making sure that everyone is able to participate in the process. That's one of the things my dad gave his life for.